Did you know that chronic stress literally shrinks parts of your brain? Research shows the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and self-control, actually gets smaller with prolonged stress. Meanwhile, the amygdala, our alarm center, grows larger. It's as if the tree of wisdom is shedding its leaves while the tree of fear digs deeper roots. If your mind were a forest, what would it look like right now? Lush and alive, or dried out by constant alerts. But take heart, because Taoism teaches that even the most weathered tree can bloom again, and the first seed of this transformation is stillness. We live in a world that demands more and more from us, but what if the key to calm wasn't in doing more, but in being more? What if an ancient philosophy could give us the tools to navigate chaos with serenity and personal power? Get ready to discover how Taoism, meditation, and silence can transform your life, and how science is now proving what sages knew centuries ago. Take a deep breath for a moment, just for a second. Can you feel it? That almost constant pressure, that low hum of urgency that never seems to leave us? We live in an age of instant connections, limitless information, infinite possibilities. And yet, paradoxically, many of us have never felt so overwhelmed, so disconnected from ourselves, so stressed. Do you recognize yourself in this picture? In that feeling of always rushing, trying to keep up with everything, juggling plates that feel like they're about to drop? The never-ending to-do list, the notifications popping up relentlessly, the pressure for productivity, for success, for more? It's like trying to hear a soft melody in the middle of a deafening rock concert. The result? Exhaustion, anxiety, a persistent feeling that something fundamental is missing even when we achieve what we thought we wanted. Let's be honest, stress has become a silent epidemic. It doesn't just affect our minds, clouding our judgment and stealing our joy. It manifests in the body, headaches, muscle tension, digestive problems, sleepless nights. It impacts our relationships, our creativity, our ability to simply be present and enjoy life. What if I told you there's a different path? An approach that doesn't require you to change the outside world because, let's face it, we can't always control the chaos out there, but offers you powerful tools to cultivate an oasis of calm within yourself. And what if this approach came from a source of wisdom that has stood the test of time for millennia, observing human nature and the rhythms of the universe with impressive depth? We're talking about Taoism. Maybe you've heard of it, perhaps associating it with long-bearded sages or philosophical concepts that seem distant. But Taoism, at its core, is incredibly practical. It's a philosophy of life that teaches us to flow with circumstances, find strength in softness, act without unnecessary effort, wu wei, and above all, recognize and cultivate harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. And at the heart of this quest for harmony, we find two sister practices, two tools that act as a true secret weapon against the whirlwind of modern stress: meditation and the cultivation of inner silence. This isn't about forcefully emptying your mind or escaping reality. Quite the opposite. Taoist meditation teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them, to cultivate a vital energy, qi, that strengthens and balances us. Silence, in turn, isn't just the absence of external noise, but the creation of a precious inner space where we can finally hear our own intuition, where clarity can emerge and tension can dissolve. And why do we claim this is proven? Because this isn't just a promise based on ancient texts. The effectiveness of these practices echoes through the centuries in the accounts of countless practitioners who found peace and resilience through them. And today, modern science is beginning to understand why. Neurological studies, research on the nervous system, and positive psychology are validating what Taoist sages already knew. Dedicating time to stillness and inner action transforms our brain, regulates our stress response, and significantly improves our physical and mental well-being. Think about it. Ancient wisdom, time-tested, now backed by scientific discoveries. It's the perfect blend of philosophical depth and contemporary validation. In this journey we're starting together now, we'll unravel these secrets, not in a theoretical, distant way, but practically applicable to your life, here and now. We'll explore how Taoism views stress and why its solutions are so effective. Taoist meditation techniques you can start practicing today without needing hours of dedication or prior experience. The transformative power of silence and how to cultivate it even amidst the hustle and bustle of daily life. The evidence, both stories and data, proving the real impact of these practices, and most importantly, how to integrate all of this realistically and sustainably into your routine, turning this wisdom into a constant ally in your search for a calmer, more balanced, and meaningful life. A question for you to reflect on before we continue. How many times in the last week have you wished for a pause button for the world, just so you could breathe and find your center again? If that question resonates with you, you're in the right place. Get ready to discover how meditation and silence, guided by the wisdom of Taoism, can be the key not to eliminating stress, because life will always have its challenges, but to developing the inner strength and clarity to navigate it with far more serenity and personal power. Understanding Taoism and the nature of stress. That's right, stress isn't just a bad feeling. It can literally change the structure of your brain. But the good news is that Taoism offers an antidote to this process, and meditation might even help reverse some of that damage. If you're curious how, keep watching, because the next revelation might surprise you. So, we've talked about the stress that plagues us and mentioned Taoism as a source of relief. But what exactly is Taoism, and how can it help us understand why we feel so overwhelmed? Forget for a moment the idea of a dogmatic religion or a rigid set of rules. Taoism is more like a map, a guide for navigating life in harmony with the natural flow of the universe. It doesn't tell us what to think, but invites us to observe nature, ourselves, the interactions between everything that exists. At the heart of Taoism are a few key concepts which might seem abstract at first glance, but are incredibly relevant to our daily experience, especially when it comes to stress. Let's unpack them together. The Tao, the way, the source, the natural flow. Imagine the Tao as the fundamental principle that permeates and guides everything in the universe. It's not a personal God, but the underlying natural order, the spontaneous rhythm of things. Think of the course of a river, the cycle of the seasons, the growth of a plant. The Tao is this intelligent, effortless flow. Living in harmony with the Tao means understanding and aligning with this natural current rather than fighting against it. It's the source from which everything comes and to which everything returns. The Tao is like a great river. You can try to swim against the current, exhausting all your energy and getting frustrated. Or you can learn to float, to use the water's strength to your advantage, navigating the bends with skill and acceptance. Stress often comes from our incessant attempt to swim upstream. Quote from Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching, "The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name." This reminds us that the Tao is experiential, beyond words, inviting direct observation. Think about an area of your life where you feel like you're constantly swimming against the current. It could be at work, in a relationship, or even regarding your own expectations. What would it look like to approach this situation with a bit more acceptance of the natural flow, even if it's not exactly how you planned? Share your reflection in the comments if you feel comfortable. Sometimes just naming the struggle can ease some tension. Ye Wu Wei. Effortless action, effective non-doing. Wu Wei isn't about doing less. It's about doing like gravity does, with invisible precision. Gravity moves galaxies without making a sound. It acts effortlessly, yet with colossal impact. Wu Wei is this action that seems magical because it's perfectly aligned with the flow of the universe. A surfer doesn't push the wave, they dance with it. Is there an area of your life where you're pushing a wave when you could just learn to surf it? Next, we'll discover why the softness of water can overcome even steel. This is perhaps one of the most misunderstood yet most powerful concepts. Wu Wei doesn't mean laziness or passivity. It means acting in alignment with the Tao spontaneously, naturally, and effectively without unnecessary or forced effort. It's like water flowing around an obstacle without struggle, or an athlete entering the zone and executing perfect movements almost instinctively. It's knowing when to act, when to wait, and doing what's necessary with minimal internal and external resistance. Stress often arises from excessive effort, trying to control everything, forcing outcomes. Example: think of Sophia, a project manager who used to micromanage every detail, leaving her exhausted and stressed. Learning about Wu Wei, she started trusting her team more, delegating tasks according to each person's skills, and intervening only when truly necessary. She discovered that by doing less in terms of controlling, the team became more proactive, results improved, and her stress levels dropped dramatically. She acted at the right time, with the right intensity. The concept of Wu Wei has fascinating parallels with the state of flow described by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, that state of total immersion and optimal performance where action seems to flow without conscious effort. Is there a task or situation in your life that you approach with excessive tension and effort? How could you apply the principle of Wu Wei? Perhaps by simplifying the approach, waiting for the right moment, or trusting the natural process more. Yin and Yang, yin-yang. The dynamic balance of opposing forces. Yin and Yang are even in yesterday's lunch. Think about it. You heat food in the microwave, Yang, and then wait for it to cool, Yin. If you don't wait, you burn your tongue. Imbalance. At the cellular level, this cycle of activation and rest is essential. Cells that don't rest die. And modern life is full of mental microwaves left on all the time. What's your yin moment in the day? And if you can't remember, maybe it's time to create one. But how do you find that yin in a chaotic routine? Taoism has a surprising answer. You've likely seen the symbol, a circle divided by a sinuous line, one black part, yin, with a white dot, and one white part, yang, with a black dot. Yin represents qualities like passivity, darkness, cold, stillness, intuition, the feminine. Yang represents activity, light, heat, movement, logic, the masculine. Taoism teaches that these forces are not good or bad but complementary and interdependent. Everything in the universe contains both, and health, physical, mental, emotional, lies in the dynamic balance between them. Stress, from this perspective, is an imbalance, usually in our modern society, an excess of yang, constant activity, pressure, logic, and a lack of yin, rest, stillness, intuition, receptivity. Think about breathing. Inhalation, active, bringing in energy, yang, and exhalation, passive, releasing, yin, are both essential. Trying only to inhale or only to exhale would quickly lead to collapse. A healthy life, like breathing, requires the constant, balanced flow between activity and rest, giving and receiving, speaking and listening. A Taoist proverb says, "Know the masculine, yang, but keep to the feminine, yin. Become the valley of the world." This suggests the importance of balancing action with receptivity and stillness. Looking at your daily and weekly routine, where do you see an excess of yang, doing, rushing, producing? And where could you consciously introduce more yin, resting, reflecting, simply being, connecting with nature? What small change could you make today to bring a little more balance? Qi, vital energy. Qi, pronounced qi, is the vital life force energy that flows through all living things, according to Chinese philosophy, not just Taoism. It's the force that animates us, that moves us. In Taoism, health and well-being depend on the smooth and abundant flow of qi through the body. Blockages or stagnation in this flow, often caused by stress, physical tension, repressed emotions, or unbalanced lifestyle habits, can lead to illness and discomfort. Practices like Taoist meditation, Tai Chi, and Qigong are specifically designed to cultivate, balance, and circulate qi. Connection to Western concepts. While qi doesn't have a direct translation in Western science, we can think of parallels with the autonomic nervous system, the body's bioelectrical impulses, or the subjective feeling of vitality and energy we all experience. Practices that balance qi often demonstrably regulate the nervous system, reduce the stress response, and increase feelings of well-being. Pay attention to your physical sensations right now. Where do you feel tension or blockage in your body? Where does energy seem to flow freely? Without judgment, just observe. This simple awareness is the first step toward releasing blockages and cultivating a healthier qi flow. The Taoist perspective on stress. So, how does Taoism bring all this together to understand stress? Simply put, stress is a sign of disharmony. It's a sign that we're disconnected from the Tao, trying to impose our will against the natural flow of life. It's a result of excessive effort, WA, instead of effective, effortless action, Wu Wei. It's a manifestation of imbalance between yin and yang, usually too much activity and too little stillness. It's a symptom of blocked or stagnant qi flow, due to tension and resistance. The beauty of the Taoist approach is that it doesn't see stress as an enemy to be fiercely fought, which would just be more way, more effort. Instead, it invites us to understand its root causes, our own resistance, our imbalance, and to use tools like meditation and silence to restore inner harmony. It's about cultivating acceptance, simplicity, and the ability to flow with life's waves instead of being constantly knocked over by them. Wow, quite a bit to absorb, right? But hopefully, you're already starting to see how this ancient wisdom can be incredibly relevant. Which of these concepts, Tao, Wu Wei, Yin, Yang, Qi, resonated most with you so far? Leave a comment below. I'd love to know what caught your attention, and if you're finding this content helpful, don't forget to like it. That helps YouTube understand you enjoy this type of video and recommend more like it to you. Taoist meditation, finding inner calm. Okay, we understand that Taoism offers a different perspective on stress. It's a sign of disharmony, of resistance to the natural flow. But how, in practice, do we begin to restore this harmony? How do we cultivate that yin-yang balance and allow our qi to flow freely? The primary answer at the heart of Taoist practices is meditation. Now, when you hear meditation, images might come to mind of monks sitting in uncomfortable positions for hours, trying to completely empty their minds. While discipline is valued, Taoist meditation often takes a slightly different approach, frequently focusing more on receptive stillness, non-judgmental observation, and, crucially, the cultivation and circulation of vital energy, qi. It's less about fighting thoughts or forcing a state of emptiness, and more about creating an inner space where the mind can gradually settle, like the murky water of a lake that, left undisturbed, allows sediment to settle and clarity to return. It's a return to our natural state of serenity, which is often buried under layers of worry and mental chatter. It's an act of profound yin, receptivity, stillness, inner nourishment, to balance the excess yang of our daily lives. Let's explore some core Taoist meditation techniques. Remember, the idea isn't to master them all immediately, but to understand the variety of tools available, and perhaps find one that resonates most with you right now. 1. Zuowang, sitting and forgetting. The art of deep stillness. Zuowang is like putting your mind in airplane mode, but with the internal GPS turned on. By sitting and forgetting, You deactivate the chaotic network of mental notifications but activate the signal to your inner compass, the Tao. It's like leaving the noisy city and realizing there was always a guiding star in the sky. You just couldn't see it because of the light pollution from your thoughts. What would you most like to forget, even if just for 5 minutes? And what if, by forgetting, you finally remembered who you truly are? Zuowang is perhaps the purest form of Taoist meditation. Translated as sitting and forgetting, it doesn't mean developing amnesia. It means sitting in stillness and gradually forgetting the distinctions and attachments that cause us suffering, forgetting the body and its tensions, forgetting the mind's worries, forgetting the separate self and its narratives. It's a process of gentle detachment, allowing awareness to expand beyond usual limitations. You simply sit, breathe, and observe whatever arises, thoughts, sensations, sounds, without clinging to anything, without judging, just allowing everything to pass like clouds in the sky. Simple practice. Find a comfortable position. Sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor is fine. Gently close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breath without forcing it. When thoughts arise, and they will, just notice them without getting involved. Imagine they are leaves floating down a river passing you by. Each time you realize you've drifted, gently return your attention to the sensation of sitting, to the breath, to the underlying stillness. Start with 5 minutes and gradually increase. Metaphor. Imagine your mind is a vast open sky. Thoughts, emotions, and sensations are like clouds or birds passing through it. In Zuowang, you don't try to stop the clouds or grasp the birds. You simply rest in the vastness of the sky, aware of everything that passes, but identifying with none of it. Connection to mindfulness. There's a clear overlap with mindfulness practices, where the emphasis is on conscious, non-judgmental observation of the present moment. Zuowang perhaps emphasizes the aspect of forgetting or dissolving identifications a bit more. What's the thing your mind has the hardest time forgetting or letting go of during moments of quiet? E.g., work worries, future planning, self-criticism. Just acknowledging this is an important step. 2. Inner smile. Meditation, cultivating compassion and transforming emotions. This is a unique and powerful Taoist practice that works directly with emotions. Traditional and scientific evidence validating these ancient practices. The proof. When ancient wisdom meets modern science. We've talked about the profound philosophy of Taoism, explored the transformative practices of meditation and silence. We promise this approach is a proven secret weapon against stress. But let's be honest, a healthy dose of skepticism is natural, even helpful. So let's get straight to it. What's the evidence supporting this claim? The beauty here is that the proof comes from two powerful sources that, together, form an irrefutable argument: the accumulated experience of millennia and the rigorous findings of modern science. 1. The proof of tradition and lived experience, the test of time. Think about this. Taoist practices of meditation, qi cultivation, and seeking harmony aren't fleeting fads. They have survived for over 2 millennia, passed down from master to disciple, adapting to different eras and cultures. Why? Because they offer tangible results. Philosophies and practices only endure for so long if they continue to resonate with fundamental human experience and offer real benefits to those who practice them. It's a silent but powerful testament to their effectiveness. Millions of lives transformed. Throughout the centuries, countless individuals, from sages and emperors to peasants and artists, have looked to Taoism for a path to health, longevity, inner peace, and resilience in the face of adversity. Their stories, their texts, the very continuity of these knowledge lineages form a vast library of anecdotal evidence, a giant human case study consistently pointing to the benefits of living in greater harmony and inner stillness. Coherence and depth. Taoist principles, Tao, Wu Wei, Yin Yang, Qi, form an elegant and internally coherent system for understanding ourselves and the universe. This philosophical depth, which addresses the roots of human suffering, like resistance to natural flow and imbalance, offers an explanatory framework that makes intuitive sense to many seeking relief from stress and deeper meaning in life. Imagine a family recipe passed down through generations. It might not have a published scientific study on each ingredient, but the fact that it has been loved, used, and shared for so long, bringing comfort and nourishment to so many, is undeniable proof of its value. Taoist practices are like that ancestral recipe for well-being. 2. The validation of modern science. What's fascinating is that in recent decades, Western science has begun developing tools and methodologies capable of measuring and observing the effects that Taoist practitioners and those from other contemplative traditions with similar principles like Buddhism have described for centuries, and the results are striking. In the brain, neuroscience, less stress reactivity. Neuroimaging studies, like fMRI, show that regular meditation can literally reshape our brains. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, or threat detector, tends to decrease in size and activity in meditators. Furthermore, the connection between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thought and emotional control, weakens. The result? We react less intensely and less automatically to stressful situations. We gain that precious second to choose our response instead of being hijacked by emotion. Focus and self-awareness, areas of the prefrontal cortex associated with attention, concentration, and self-awareness, show increased activity and even thickening in regular practitioners. This translates into better focus, crucial for the productivity many seek, and a greater clarity about our own thoughts and emotions. Less mental rumination. Science has identified the default mode network, DMN, a set of brain areas active when our mind is wandering, ruminating about the past, or worrying about the future. That constant inner noise. Meditation has consistently been shown to decrease activity in the DMN, helping free us from these stress-generating thought loops. It's neuroscience validating the Taoist quest for inner silence. In the body, physiology, stress hormones, research shows that meditation and relaxation practices can reduce levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone, in the bloodstream. Less cortisol means less long-term physical and mental wear and tear. Balanced heart and nervous system, variability, HRV, is an indicator of our ability to adapt to stress and the balance of the autonomic nervous system. Practices like conscious breathing and meditation have been proven to improve HRV, indicating greater resilience and a calmer, more balanced nervous system. A physiological reflection of yin-yang balance and qi flow, pressure, and inflammation. Studies also link regular meditation to reduced blood pressure in people with hypertension, and more recent research suggests it may help lower markers of inflammation in the body, which are linked to various chronic diseases exacerbated by stress. In the mind, psychology, relief from anxiety and depression. Numerous studies and meta-analyses confirm the effectiveness of mindfulness-based interventions, which share the core of conscious observation and acceptance with Taoist practices, in significantly reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression, greater well-being, and emotional intelligence. Like the inner smile, which cultivates self-compassion, and meditation focused on observing emotions, have been shown to increase levels of subjective well-being, optimism, and the ability to manage difficult emotions more healthily. Julia's story. Consider Julia, a 35-year-old marketing professional, skeptical by nature, but burnt out from work stress and big city life. She heard about meditation and thought it was woo-woo stuff, but desperate for relief, she decided to try a guided meditation app for 10 minutes daily, focusing on breath and observing thoughts, similar to Zuowang. She also started keeping her phone on silent for the first hour of the morning. After a few weeks, she not only felt a difference, less irritability, better sleep, more clarity for making decisions under pressure, but she also noticed her smartwatch, which measured her HRV, started consistently showing better values. The proof was right there, on her wrist data, and more importantly, in her lived experience of greater calm and resilience. Science and personal experience converged. Inspiring quote from John Kabat-Zinn, pioneer of mindfulness in the West. "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." While not Taoist, this perfectly captures the essence of using these practices to handle life's inevitable stress, something science now validates. Connecting the dots. What modern science is showing us is fascinating. The mechanisms by which meditation and silence work, calming the amygdala, balancing the nervous system, quieting the DMN, are in many ways the physiological and neurological validation of principles Taoism described millennia ago through its own language, balancing yin-yang, calming the mind, allowing smooth qi flow, acting with Wu Wei. Ancient wisdom and scientific inquiry are pointing in the same direction. Tradition offers millennia of experience. Science offers measurable data. Together they build a compelling case. But ultimately, the most powerful proof will always be your own experience. Think of a time, however brief, when you instinctively sought quiet or took a deep breath amidst chaos. Did you feel any relief, no matter how small? That's your own initial evidence. Now imagine amplifying that with intentional practices. Which aspect of the proof, the longevity of tradition or the scientific findings, most motivated you to seriously consider trying these practices? Share your perspective in the comments. Let's talk about what inspires us to seek this transformation with confidence bolstered by tradition and science. The next logical question is, okay, I'm convinced, but how do I actually integrate this into my already busy life? In the next section, we'll focus precisely on that. Practical, realistic strategies for bringing meditation and silence into your everyday routine. Integrating Taoist calm into modern life. Practical tips. Okay, we've reached what might seem like the most challenging part, integration. You might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful. The Tao, Wu Wei, meditation, silence. But when? My schedule is already packed. How am I going to fit one more thing in? And that's a totally valid concern. The last thing we want is for the pursuit of calm to become another source of stress, another item on the things I should be doing list. Remember the principle of Wu Wei, effortless action. Integrating these practices into your life should follow that same principle, with gentleness, consistency, and realism, not brute force or perfectionism. It's not about becoming a monk overnight or adding hours of meditation to your already overloaded routine. It's about infusing small moments of awareness, stillness, and breath into the fabric of your daily life. It's like adding a subtle spice that transforms the flavor of the entire dish. Here are some practical and realistic strategies inspired by Taoist wisdom to start weaving this calm into your modern life. Start micro, the power of small moments. The 1-minute rule. Don't have 10 minutes. Start with 1 minute. Before getting out of bed, before turning on the computer, before eating, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, feel your feet on the ground. It's a micro reset. Awareness triggers everyday events as reminders to pause and breathe. A red light in traffic waiting for coffee to brew. An email notification before clicking. Turn passive waiting moments into active pauses of presence. Breath. Your breath is always with you. In any moment of tension or rushing, bring your attention to 2 or 3 complete breaths. Feel the air coming in and going out. It's an instant return to the present. Anchor to existing routine, habit stacking. Don't create a new time slot from scratch. Attach the practice to something you already do. Example, meditate for 5 minutes right after brushing your teeth in the morning. Take a silent pause before lunch. Practice the inner smile while drinking your evening tea. Association makes habit formation easier. Schedule it, but flexibly. If it helps, put it in your calendar. 5 meeting, mindful pause. Treat it as an important appointment because it is, but if you miss a day or only manage 2 minutes, that's okay. Remember Wu Wei. Long-term consistency matters more than daily perfection. Let go of self-criticism. Create a space, even a mental one. You don't need an elaborate altar. It can be a specific chair, a corner of the room, even your parked car for a few minutes. What matters is the intention. If the external environment is noisy, noise-canceling headphones or soft ambient music without lyrics can help. Sometimes the most important space to cultivate is the inner space of stillness, accessible anywhere. Use technology wisely. Guided meditation apps like Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer, Lojong can be great for beginners, offering structure and variety. Use timers to mark the time, but beware. Don't let the search for the perfect app or comparison with others become another distraction. And remember to practice without technology too, cultivating your own capacity for silence. Communicate your needs, if applicable. If you live with others, gently explain that you need a few minutes of quiet time and why. It might be an invitation for them to try it too, or simply a request for respect for your space and time. Transform mundane tasks into practices. Washing dishes, folding laundry, walking to the bus stop. These can be opportunities to practice mindfulness. Instead of letting your mind wander into worries, focus on the sensations, the warm water on your hands, the texture of the clothes, the movement of your feet. It's inner silence amidst activity. Practice. Intentional non-doing. Our culture values constant productivity. Challenge this. Schedule moments to simply do nothing, guilt-free. Look out the window, sit on the couch without turning on the TV. This is deeply restorative and aligns with the yin-yang balance. Henry's story. Henry is a father of 2 young children with a demanding job. The idea of finding time to meditate seemed like a joke, but he was feeling on the verge of burnout. He decided to apply the micro approach. He started with deep breaths in the car before entering the house after work to avoid bringing office stress home to the family. 1 minute of silence, just feeling the warm water during his morning shower. Choosing calm music or silence for his commute instead of news or agitated podcasts. Henry practicing attentive listening when his kids told him something instead of thinking about the next task. Small changes, but consistent. Within a few months, Henry didn't become a Zen master, but he felt a noticeable difference. He was less reactive, more patient with his kids, and felt he had a bit more inner space to handle the day's challenges. He integrated calm into the moments he already had, rather than trying to create moments that didn't exist. Integrating these practices is like watering a small plant. You don't need to flood it once a month. You need to give it a little water regularly. Small drops of awareness and silence given consistently are what allow your inner calm to grow strong and resilient. Inspiring. Quote from Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to do everything at once. Choose one small step today, 1 conscious breath, 1 minute of silence. That's the beginning of your journey to a life with less stress and more flow. Now, it's over to you. Looking at these tips, what is one small practice you feel inspired to try or integrate into your routine this week? It doesn't have to be grand. It could be the 1-minute rule, the anchor breath, or transforming a mundane task. Share your choice in the comments below. Reading others' ideas can inspire us, and stating your intention can help you commit. Let's create a movement of micro-calm right here. And remember to be kind to yourself in the process. We've explored the philosophy, meditation, silence, the proof, and now practical integration. We're nearing the end of our journey together. In the final section, let's recap the main points and leave you with a final message of encouragement and possibility. Breathing in and breathing out. the yin and yang happening inside you dozens of times a minute. Each breath is a complete cycle of the universe: beginning, birth, peak, life, return, death, and restart, rebirth. The inhale is yang, active. The exhale is yin, surrender. Denying either is denying the totality of life. When you breathe consciously, you don't just oxygenate your body, you tune into the Tao. It's as if the universe says, yes, you are still here, breathe. Continue the flow. You don't need to control your whole life. You just need to breathe with it. And so, recapping our journey together today, exploring the paths to calm through the lens of Taoism. We started by acknowledging the stress epidemic marking our modern times, that feeling of overwhelm and disconnection many of us experience. We dove into the foundations of Taoism, not as dogma, but as a life philosophy. We understood the Tao as the universe's natural flow, Wu Wei as effortless action, in harmony with that flow, the dynamic balance of yin and yang, and the importance of vital energy, qi. We saw how stress, in this view, is a sign of resistance to this flow, an energetic imbalance. We explored the practical tools of Taoist meditation, from the deep stillness of Zuowang, sitting and forgetting, and the healing compassion of the inner smile, as ways to calm the mind and nourish our inner selves. Note, the text mentioned the microcosmic orbit implicitly, related to qi circulation, though didn't detail it. We discovered the often underestimated power of silence, not just the absence of external sound, but the inner quiet that allows us to hear our intuition, process emotions, and reconnect with the present. We sought proof, finding validation both in the accumulated experience of millennia of tradition and in the findings of modern science, which now maps in the brain and body the benefits Taoist sages already knew. And finally, we brought it all into our reality with practical, realistic tips for integrating these moments of calm and awareness into the hustle of daily life, remembering that the journey begins with a single step, a single breath. If there's one thing I'd like you to take away from our conversation, it's this: overwhelming stress doesn't have to be your default state. Calm, clarity, and the feeling of flowing with life, Wu Wei, are not unattainable luxuries reserved for monks on distant mountains. They are potentials residing within you, right now. Taoism offers us a map and a compass. The practices of meditation and silence are the tools, but the journey is yours. It doesn't demand perfection, only intention, presence, and self-compassion. There will be days when you feel like you're flowing effortlessly, and days when the current feels too strong. That's okay. The practice is precisely about learning to navigate those waves with more awareness and less resistance. Remember water, a symbol so dear to Taoism. It doesn't fight obstacles. It flows around them. It finds the path of least resistance, yet with persistence, it can wear away the hardest stone. Be like water. Cultivate your fluidity, your stillness, your resilient strength. This video text is an invitation to pause, breathe, and consider a different way of relating to stress and to life. An invitation to experience, even in micro doses, the peace that can arise when you allow yourself to simply be in silence, in presence. I sincerely hope this content has been helpful and inspiring for you. If you enjoyed it and found value, please show your support. Like the video. This helps YouTube show it to more people who might need this message. Comment below, share your main takeaway, which practice you'll try, or anything else you felt while watching, reading. I love reading and interacting with you. Share with friends, family, or colleagues who you think might benefit from this approach to handling stress. To delve deeper into this topic, download our exclusive ebook on finding inner calm with Taoism. The link is in the description and the first pinned comment below. And don't forget to check out the other videos here on the screen. Click one to continue your journey of self-discovery and well-being. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content on well-being, self-knowledge, and how to live a life with more meaning and less stress. Thank you so much for your attention and for embarking on this journey with me. May you find moments of calm and flow on your path.